on Sunday. I'm about to start my lives everywhere. All right, cool. Went ahead and got that live started everywhere. All right. Let me invite my first person onto the screen. Nobody, how's it going? Nobody, are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm above 18. And yeah, I disagree that leftist policies are good for the people.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock. All right, cool. So before we go ahead and get started, did you want to know what I mean by leftist policies?
Well, it's pretty cut and dry what that is. So
it's not. A lot of people don't actually know what I mean by that. They think I'm talking about, having a complete open border, whatever the hell that means, and that's not usually what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, okay, so for one, how far are we going to go back? That's because I mean that right there would tell me a lot.
What do you mean?
How far back in regards to politics do you want to go back? Do you want to go back 20 years to back to 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? How far do you want to go back? Or do you want to go back to since we began having this conversation about, the Constitution, the amendments, and the Bill of Rights and all that other jazz that comes along with it?
We don't have to go back any time. The leftist policies I'm talking about are things such as universal health care, investment into our infrastructure, investment into public transportation, investment into renewable energies, upholding the equal rights of everybody, freedom of expression, freedom of privacy, things like paternal leave for new parents, things of that nature. That's what I mean by leftist policies. Universal education as well, meaning universal pre-K, college as well. All that publicly paid for. Things like minimum wage tied to inflation and the cost of living of your area. Unionize as much as possible, things like that.
Okay, so which topic would you want to discuss first? Because I mean, you brought up a laundry list full of things. So which one would you like to tackle first? I think healthcare and college would be a great topic to talk about.
All right, cool. So why would universal healthcare be bad for society?
Because for one, who's paying for that?
All of us pay for it.
All of us pay for it. So we're going to adopt a model, I guess, similar to Canada, correct?
Well, I'll make it similar to maybe Japan or Thailand or China.
But why should we model something from a different country that works for them that necessarily couldn't work for us? Because by definition, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we hold more here in the States than we do in both of those countries.
We don't hold more here than China. China has more.
I never said China. I never said you. I didn't say China.
Yeah, but I did.
Okay, so we have more per capita than Japan does.
So,
okay, so how are we going to benefit, or how are we going to pay for that?
Again, we all pay into taxes, right?
Okay, so
right, that's how it's going to get paid for. You understand how universal health care works?
Yes, I'm well aware how it works.
All right, cool. So if you know how it works, you know that it's just like having an insurance company. It's just that the government is the insurer. That's it.
So you're promoting big government. It's basically, in a nutshell, is what you're doing. Because the reason why that is because it's putting government above what the Constitution was designed for. Because it was a government for the people, by the people. I don't vote based on what big government allows and what doesn't allow. For example, we've had this problem just like the C word, and I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a big business, okay? And so the ending is going to be R. So hopefully you can read through the lines. But again, that's a big business. But the government and the insurance companies are the one who tells you who could actually qualify for pre-existing conditions versus who doesn't qualify for pre-existing conditions.
That's not what universal healthcare is.
Yes, that's exactly what universal health care is. For example,
hold on, wait. So nobody. Wait, hold on, nobody. I need to hold on. But the thing is, why you're not demonstrating it is because what you said doesn't happen. Hold on, what you said doesn't happen in the countries that have universal health care. So why would it happen here?
Well, I mean, if we're basing the model off of other countries, we don't know what's in those other countries and how we're actually going to formulate it.
Yeah,
we don't know
research it, right? In France, basically how it works is that all the bills that that you get in the hospital, it just gets sent to the government. The government is the payer. They go ahead and pay for all the bills that you rack up. And not only that, like there's no middleman, so they're actually spending less per capita than we do.
The middleman is the government.
No, the middleman is insurance companies and administrative costs. Yes,
if that's the reason why. There's a reason why I vote. For example, like
in America, when it comes to healthcare, there's already a middleman. It's not the government. It's administrative costs.
No, it's the government.
No, it's not. The government is not involved in our healthcare.
I'm literally explaining to you.
We don't have a government. We don't have a universal system in the United States except for Medicare. Well,
that's what we do. We actually do.
And Medicare is not even universal.
Well, no, that's the reason why I brought up the Affordable Care Act or the Obama administration.
That's not universal health care, bro.
For America, yes, it was.
No, it's not.
Okay, so if it wasn't universal health care, then why are you getting penalized if it's not universal?
Why you're not getting penalized? Number one,
yes,
there's no number one, there's no mandate anymore. That was already taken away. But the second thing that I would say is there's no mandate anymore. That was already taken away. But the second thing that I would say, hold on, let me finish. The second thing that I was going to say is that it's not universal health care because you do not have to join the system. You can all it mandated is that you have insurance. You do not have to join the Obamacare system in order for you to get penalized or not. If you have a job, you're not going to get penalized because you're on the health insurance of your job. However, if you simply, and not only that, it excluded people who are not employed, et cetera, et cetera. That's not a universal system. A universal system simply covers everyone, and Obamacare didn't cover everyone. That's not what it did.
Well, actually, it did cover everyone.
No, it didn't. You have the option.
Yes, it did because you have the option.
If you have money over a certain means, you don't qualify for the ACA. You have to qualify for it.
No, in the beginning, it was not entitled for that. It was for those who could not afford it because all they did was reinvent per se Romney Care because that's where the model came from.
I know that's where the model came from. What I'm saying is that you had to have certain qualifications in order to be part of the ACA market. You had to. It was means tested. Yes, didn't. Bro. A millionaire couldn't be in the ACA. A millionaire could not be in the ACA.
We're not talking about a certain tax bracket, my guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Hold on, nobody. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody. If you don't meet a certain means test, you don't qualify for Obamacare. That's what I mean. In a universal system, everybody gets covered. There is no means test.
No,
so Obamacare is not universal because you still had premiums. You still had to go through an insurance company. You still had to be means tested. That's not universal.
You have to go to the marketplace.
You have to go to the marketplace. Exactly. You have to go to exactly.
Okay, that's universal.
That's not. No, it's not because you don't qualify.
It literally is.
Can a millionaire get on the marketplace?
What you're doing?
Nobody. Stop. Answer yes or no. Answer yes or no. Can a millionaire get on the market?
We're talking about the middle
Nobody. Can a millionaire get on the marketplace? Yes or no?
As far as I know of, no. If I remember correctly, no.
Which means it's not. Which means nobody. That means it's not universal.
We're not, sir. We're not.
Hold on. Stop. Nobody. Stop. Listen. A system that excludes people is by definition not a universal system. By definition. The millionaires who live in France can still use their universal system. The millionaires who live in Japan can still use their universal. Hold on, nobody. I'm not pivoting. Listen, nobody. Listen. You need to listen to what I'm saying to you. By definition, a system that excludes people is not universal. By definition. So you cannot say Obamacare is universal if it excluded people of a certain tax bracket. A universal system, a single payer system would not do that. So you cannot say Obamacare is universal, full stop, because it excluded people.
That's not what it was intended for. It was intended for the middle class.
Did it exclude people or not?
But you're missing the point of a millionaire.
Obamacare is not universal, period. You cannot say that it is. Because it excludes people.
Can.
If you are upper middle class is someone who makes
a certain tax bracket.
A certain tax, exactly. If those brackets are excluded, it's not universal, period. If you make $300,000 a year, you couldn't get on Obamacare.
Okay, so we're basing this off. We'll model this off Canada. Do you think a billionaire in Canada even though he pays taxes, is allowed the same health care coverage as, per se, somebody that works, we'll say hypothetically,
Yes.
Blockbuster. If no,
Yes.
well, no,
Yes.
I'm talking about the middle class. I'm talking about the middle class person.
Yes.
Okay, you just proved my point. Thank you.
No, I didn't, because
Yes, you did.
you asked about Canada. In Canada,
I
they
said
all
that
can use their system.
Okay, hear my argument. Hear my argument. Do you think in Canada, because that is our neighbor, who has universal health care system, under the universal health care system, do you think a billionaire has the same opportunities to be on that, even though they're paying taxes, has the same opportunities as getting on, even though they're in a different tax bracket, getting universal health care? You said yes. So that displays my same thing. It has to do with different tax brackets. Now, I'm granting the fact because
I'm
they can
very
afford
confused of what your point was. You say that again. You're saying that because in Canada everybody can access the system, that somehow proves your point that Obamacare was universal. That's stupid.
No, what's stupid is the fact that you didn't hear the point. They're still.
I don't know what your point is.
Bracket.
What are you trying to say?
They're still in the same tax bracket. That means it's universal. If the same people, which I don't even think that is even possible, because you have not brought up any evidence regarding that a millionaire here in the States could be on the same tax bracket as a middle class person.
That's not what I said. I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
You literally excluded.
No. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Listen to what I'm saying to you again. In a universal system, nobody is excluded, no matter your tax bracket. That's what I said. In other countries that have a universal system, they don't go by tax brackets. Everybody is just covered. In America, Obamacare excluded people of certain tax brackets. By definition, that is not universal. That's what I said.
Okay, so you said that there's no evidence of a millionaire being under Obamacare. Did I understand that correctly?
That's not what I said. No, I said that they're excluded. Of course, a millionaire can figure out a way to.
Just said.
Hold on, nobody. Listen, I didn't say there's no evidence that they're on it. I'm saying because of course someone can cheat the system and get on it. Of course that can happen. What I'm saying is that by law they're excluded. They can cheat the system and get on it. Everyone knows that. So what I'm saying is that what we have to do is simply have a universal system where that doesn't happen. Just include everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, a millionaire living in California or Arkansas somewhere can cheat the system. You know what I'm saying? Say his income is only $30,000 a year and get on Obamacare. Of course that can happen. We all know that.
Okay, so according to, let's see, hold on just a second. I'm trying to pull it up. According to Yahoo News, or we can even go to the Obama Foundation. Okay, so there was the ACA has given more than 40 million Americans access to health care, expanding Medicaid to 40 states to cover 21 million low-income adults under 65 years old. Now, I'm granting the 65 years because, I mean, they shouldn't even be included with that. So the point is, do you think out of those 40 million Americans since the conception of the Affordable Care Act, do you not think that one millionaire could possibly be under that bracket? Yes or no?
I already said that, yes, a millionaire can go ahead and cheat the system. We know that could happen.
I think he's failing to realize the simple question that you asked. Can people be excluded? That is the important question that keeps being asked. Can people be excluded from Obamacare? If the answer is yes, it can't be universal.
That's
so
simple.
When your example of Canada, I don't know why you made it, because regardless of tax bracket, everyone is included, being the very definition of universal. So we understand universal means everybody, and the opposite of universal means people can be excluded. Not one, not two, because your example is you don't think 1 millionaire could have got in there? That's still not everyone. Universal covers everyone. Are we tracking now?
Well, no, we're not tracking this case. Again, for one, nowhere, according to the Affordable Care Act, does it exclude millionaires. Nowhere we find that.
But
as a matter of fact, hold on. It says undocumented immigrants are not allowed, incarcerated individuals, religious objections, individuals below poverty level, non-expansion states, those who face financial hardships, and Native Americans. Is he
giving us a list of people that it doesn't cover?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, you're thus supporting our argument.
No, I'm not.
You're going down the list of people that are not covered, so it can't be universal.
Well, again, undocumented immigrants.
I'm starting to wonder if you're on our side or yours.
Did you not hear what I said?
I heard everything you said, and it's like you're on our side of the discussion.
What is undocumented?
Nobody. You mentioned undocumented immigrants and people above a certain income level.
Well, no, that was according to the Obama Foundation. That's exactly where that came from.
So people above a certain income level. So people above a certain income level cannot get the ACA. We still haven't even gotten to how is universal health care bad for society. We still haven't even gotten to that. You're saying here that Obamacare was not universal. You can't say that it was.
Yeah, reckless spending for one. Reckless spending by the government. Reckless spending in everything and every financial. Every person.
Can we get an example of this?
How is so nobody. You simply said reckless spending. How is spending on public health, which every single industrialized nation does, which means that in every industrialized nation, no one falls into medical debt or medical poverty. How is that somehow a bad thing?
Yeah, I mean, again, we have to go back and look at those numbers. Those numbers that would actually tell us a lot in regards to excess spending. If, for
what
example,
numbers you want to look at?
Excess spending of the government of Japan, for example, because you brought up Japan. I don't want to veer on China because I mean that's kind of complicated because I mean as many people are there. So let's just focus solely on Japan or France. Now, if you talk about the excess spending, that right there would alleviate to where we could actually create a better healthcare coverage for Americans. Because apparently, I mean, if 2-3 people or however many's in this life cannot figure out the healthcare solution, and our government can't figure it out, what makes you think that other countries have it all solved out as well? Because obviously this is going to be a very big touch. This is upon every administration's talking point. We have to keep that understandable.
Their healthcare systems are better than ours. And the thing is when you're talking about unnecessary spending, the studies show that foreign universal healthcare systems attack healthcare issues before they become major problems, thus saving them money. When we work on a system like we work on, we only address the after effects, not the causes that could have been prevented. So by the time you get to someone that is like having heart issues, you could have probably alleviated it with regular doctor visits. You could have alleviated it with regular doctor visits, with the doctor advising to change in diet or exercise or something like that. But people can't afford to see doctors because we don't have universal health care. So by the time we get to a major problem, it's a major problem.
Yeah.
So we spend more and waste more money on healthcare than foreign countries that have universal healthcare.
Yeah, because we don't have single payer, people, like how you said, don't do preventative care. And because they don't do preventative care, the cost of our healthcare goes up because these problems become balloon later. But if we did have a preventative care, because it's universal and then we can see those people, you'll see those costs go down. Especially not only that, we over rely on specialization and we have a shortfall of general practitioners. That also brings our healthcare cost up.
Well, again, because there's so many rules and stipulations in regards to that. I mean, just like, for example, psychologists. Do you have any idea how many loopholes you have to go through just to become a psychologist? Yeah, it's expensive.
I'm in a master's program right now to become a therapist.
Cool. And in your summation, is there loopholes and stuff that you have to go through besides the normal education?
I mean, if you want to go through the DEI program, if you want to go through the DEI program, I'm sure you could.
No, I'm asking the host. In your summation, do you agree with the other guests that you have to jump through loopholes and go through a rigorous amount of unnormalized education to become what you are?
No, it's pretty much straightforward. You enter into a master's program. They prepare you for you understand how to diagnose people. You understand how to read the DSM-5. You understand the decision tree. You go ahead and take a test. You do your practicum you do your what was that? Not your convention. you do a residency in order to know how to talk to people, in order how to become a therapist. You go through your regular practices. You go to your internship, your practicum, and then you get hired at either a jail or a hospital or a rehab center, and you know how to be a therapist. You're also supervised. I mean, there are things you have to go through, but it's not abnormal other than anything else.
Actually, no. You have to get your jurisprudence. You only have to do that, but
You
you
don't
also
have to get a jurisprudence to be a therapist.
Yes, you do.
To be a therapist, you have to pass the board. You have to pass your state board. You have to get a jurisprudence.
Yes, that's a part of it.
The state board test?
Jurisprudence, yes. I'm talking about, okay, so there's I think 3 or 4 exams you have to take. I just passed my jurisprudence. I go in 3 weeks, I do believe, 4 weeks to actually pass the NCE. And then after that, I go in to actually take my state exam. And then before I could go on to get my PhD, but that's neither here or there. The problem
you're getting a
here
PhD. That's a completely different thing.
No, it's not. It's literally.
I'm getting a master's. I'm not getting a PhD. I'm not becoming a doctor. You're becoming a doctor.
Well,
of course, you got to go through the rigorous.
Well,
things.
No. I'm talking about just getting the master's degree.
No.
You have to go 3,000 hours. You have to go through
2,000 hours. Yes, in my state is 2,000 hours in my state.
Okay. So what? Georgia?
I'm in Florida.
Okay. So yeah. So that again, Georgia. I think Georgia. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. I think Kentucky. Don't quote me on that. No. I'm sorry. Scratch that. Tennessee's not in that. It's only about 2,000 hours. Other states require 3,000 hours.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. The strenuous bullshit that you have to go through.
That's not strenuous, bro. It makes sense. It makes sense that's for you to spend a lot of hours knowing how to be a therapist. That makes sense.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about the SOAP notes. Yeah, I'm talking about SOAP DAP notes. Those are 2 things I'm referring to. On top of that, to get paid, because you have to get either a 1022 or a W-2, depending on where you work. Because, for example, like if you work under a private organization, you have to get a 1022. Yeah. So you have to pay taxes on whatever you're making. So there's a lot of shit that goes along with that.
No, I mean, nobody. This sounds like having a regular job, bro.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. The thing is that I don't have a problem with my healthcare people. The people that are gonna either be diving into my mind verbally or surgically, or my body,
knowing what the hell they doing, right?
Yeah.
Just like, for example,
rigorous training.
Well, just like for
send
example,
them through rigorous training. If they add 4,000 more hours to the training, I would not object to it.
Me either.
No. That's not. That's what I get. That's not even what I'm referring to. I'm talking about there is a certain time frame that you have to submit SOAP and DAP notes to your supervisor before you even get paid. So if you forget and fail because you get a heavy workload and you forget to turn in 2 or 3, not only is it penalized against you, but you don't get paid for those 2 or 3. So that's $125 that's taken out of your pocket right off the bat.
That's your fuck up, bro. Like, what are you saying?
No. Again.
That sounds like
did you not hear what I said? Heavy workload.
You know what? I used to when I was in the military, we had to log our man hours.
Mm-hmm,
and if you didn't log your man hours, you were not accounted for them.
Yeah,
you took a hit for it. You would hear it at the weekly meeting. What did you do with your time this week? As far as the man hours reflect, y'all sat on your tails all week. So this sounds like accountability.
And it's not accountability.
Yeah, exactly. When I was in the military, you had to make sure that you wrote down which parts that you changed out of the jet, because I used to work on F-16s. You have to make sure which parts you wrote out. You have to write down the man hours. Not only that, you have to have your 5 level, your 7 level, even your 9 level, all check off on your work and what you were doing. Otherwise, they say that plane cannot fly because this person didn't check it. Like, it's all accountability, bro.
Well, no, it's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you actually get in there and you actually get to do the work, then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Then you'll see exactly. You'll be like, "Oh shit, nobody was right about that." Then you'll fully see exactly what I'm referring to.
You're referring to the fact that you actually have to turn in your hours and make sure that your shit is all in order.
If you have heavy, hold on. If you have a heavy workload, okay, hypothetically, this is a hypothetical situation. You have a heavy workload. On top of that, you have to submit your finalization of your school hours. On second or third of all, then you have a a case that you have to go to the courthouse. So in that specific day, because you only have 48 hours, I think right at 72 hours to turn in those soap notes, depending on your supervisor. That's what I'm referring to. If you get a heavy caseload and then you have court the next day because a client has gone ape shit, guess what? You forget to turn in those soap notes. Guess what? You don't
accountability,
get paid,
responsibility.
That sounds like responsibility,
no,
my friend. Yes.
That's accountability. Sounds like you might need
Okay,
to
so listen to this. Everybody pause. So what it sounds like is that you have an issue with the bureaucratic process, right? I get that. There's a lot of paperwork to do. There's a lot of bureaucratic processes to do. I get that, and that can be very, very annoying, right? We should have a way to streamline all of this. Sure, a lot of people in the counseling field will tell you lots of paperwork and all this other stuff. There should be a better way to streamline it. I get it. They even talk about burnout all the time. I get it. I get you get burned out. All that is all good and well, right? This does not tell me how a universal system where there'll be more people who be able to see you, so which means you'll be able to get paid more. There'll be more people to get therapy, more people to see their cardiologist, more people to see their PCP, and in order to resolve a lot of these health issues. It doesn't tell me how that would be an issue. It doesn't tell me how any of the other things that I brought up would be an issue. Like, why would all these things be a horrible
insurances
thing?
there's certain insurances that won't even accept mental health counseling. There's certain insurances that like, for example, you'll fully understand once you actually get in there, then because you actually have to see, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You can get paid in cash, or you can get paid in credit card, or whatever the case may be. But to actually file it on an insurance, you have to actually the actual facility that you're working for, or private, or whatever the case may be, they actually have to. Well, no, they have to apply for the insurances of that individual. You have to apply for that, and then you turn around and either get accepted or rejected.
So nobody.
That's the problem with healthcare itself.
No, nobody. You're literally just laid out why universal healthcare will be better, because if we had universal healthcare, that wouldn't be a thing.
No, it is a thing.
No, what I'm saying is that.
It is a thing.
Hold on, nobody. Listen, if we had single payer, if we had universal healthcare, what you're saying wouldn't be a thing. You don't have to apply to anything. They would just
it doesn't work like that. Again, that's the reason why I keep using the Canadian model, because it doesn't.
That's exactly how it works up there.
No, it does not.
I have a Canadian person in my YouTube chat literally saying that's how it works.
That's not how it works.
So they're lying.
I mean, can you verify?
No, I can't verify because I can't show my computer screen.
Exactly. So you're believing somebody on a screen that's supposedly telling you whatever. Again, if you look at the model,
you're in the same position. So I think I believe the Canadian.
Actually, no. I'm literally telling you how the process works.
You're Canadian?
Because of it. Well, no. I'm using the same model in regards to.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. In Canada, when they go to their therapists and their mental health counselors, right? It cannot get paid for through their universal system. Is that what you're saying?
There's again, some of them will be rejected or accepted. I just literally said.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Canada healthcare system is single payer, universal healthcare.
Yeah,
correct. So but you look at well, I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is the company that itself either has the opportunity to either accept the insurance or reject the insurance. That's the reason why we had such a big problem under the Bush administration, is because, again, those pre-existing conditions, the healthcare wouldn't even touch those pre-existing conditions.
So nobody. Listen, if we had a single payer system, none of this would be a thing, bro. You don't have to apply. Hold on.
You know what a single payer?
Wait, nobody listen. Nobody listen. Stop talking. Listen. Under a single payer system, it's essentially just like Medicare. We all pay a certain amount of our taxes into this system, and the claims are paid out of that risk pool, just like how insurance works today, right? So if we had a single payer system, what you're talking about of them, these companies have to apply to an insurance company. There is no insurance company they have to apply to. They just have to send it to the single payer system, and it gets paid for. Everything that you're talking about wouldn't happen if we had a single payer system. Appreciate that, y'all. Thank you so much. Everything you're talking about wouldn't be a problem if you had.
Nobody.
My bad, Michaela. Go ahead. Yeah, so if we had a single payer system, everything that you're talking about wouldn't be a thing. It would just get paid. The bills would just go to the single payer system, and it'll get paid for. You're literally saying you're literally complaining about issues within our healthcare system right now that wouldn't exist under a single payer system.
So what I'm complaining about is either being accepted or rejected. That's what I'm complaining about.
That wouldn't be a thing in a single payer. There's no accept and
it's
reject.
Already taking place under the ACA.
Nobody.
That's what I'm trying to
explain. The ACA is not universal health care. That's the point.
Oh.
How is something that excludes a certain group of people universal?
Undocumented immigrants. I clearly said
and
that.
Who else? If it excludes undocumented, it's not universal. If it excludes people of a certain income, if it's just people of a certain income, it's not universal.
Okay, so undocumented immigrants, as well as those on tribal lands, because they have their own governmental system.
That means it's not universal. You're literally proving my point.
So
Jesus Christ,
undocumented.
He made me think of another question. So in the average single payer healthcare system in Canada, on average, how many medical doctor billing claims are rejected? I just looked it up. 5 to 10%.
Okay.
5 to 10%.
Still 5 or 10% of individuals.
5 to 10%. That's still better than what we're on here in the United States.
How do you figure that out?
Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Everybody, give me a second. Carrie, the one that just joined, the one in orange. Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm 32. And I'm just wondering why we're listening to some bald head ass, milk dud looking ass, black testicle looking ass motherfucker like you.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and continue. So go ahead and what you're saying, Red. Now we could barely hear you.
So what I was looking at, and I couldn't. What we have to look at to make this a comparable thing is how many Americans would lose health care if we were not under Obamacare? How many Americans would not be covered at this point? Then look at how many in the Canada system, on average, how many are rejected? You're talking about 5 to 10. 5 to 10%. I mean, this is not 5 to 10 people, 5 out of 10. This is 5 to 10% of healthcare claims, medical claims. Now, how many Americans would be without healthcare in this moment if it was not for Obamacare? That's the true number that we want to see. And I guarantee you that 5 to 10% being rejected in Canada is way, way less than who would not be covered if we didn't have Obama.
Actually, do we have any Canadians in the chat or that want to come up? I'm curious if we have any Canadians.
Yeah, if we do, I definitely want y'all to come up. Louis, are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Yes, I am at least 18. I appreciate you bringing me up. And America is great. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
America
all right, cool. Mute up for me because I need to finish out with nobody. We've been on this for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, no. You got other people, man. Go ahead. I mean, we can talk about this later. I mean, this is because we're going around in circles. We're not getting any points. So you go ahead and do what you got to do.
All righty. A open book. Okay, I appreciate you being here. Open book. Y'all check out Open Book. Love his content.
The people's princess. Would you be willing to come up here to talk about Canadian universal healthcare system? Because you may have more knowledge than we do. For maybe another future.
What happened to the guest?
Well, I was waiting to dive into that one.
I didn't drop him, so I don't know.
Me either. I was about to give him a chance to speak, but he just dropped out of nowhere. I don't know what happened there. All right, People's Princess.
Hi, the People's Princess.
Hi. I can try my best to explain any questions that you guys have.
Yeah, sure. So, from what he was saying, basically, healthcare in Canada the bills can get rejected and stuff like that. How does this actually work?
Well, it depends on the province. And it depends on the kind of healthcare that you're getting. So there is private and there is public. and public only covers a certain amount of different things. And I do believe, I've never heard of bills getting rejected. Like, I don't know how that would work. Like, who would that be sent to? Like, that doesn't sound like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. All right, Alvito, how you doing? Are you at least Alvito? Are you at least 18?
What?
And did you disagree with something I had on the board?
I agree with reparation for Black Americans. So
Yeah. Okay. Did you disagree with anything else?
so you no I mean the Holy Bible could be evidence for
All right. Cool. Yeah.
proof of
All right, cool.
different events.
Let's go there.
All right. Sure. Cool. We'll go ahead and talk about that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put about 15 minutes on the clock so me and Alvito could speak. Princess,
What?
go ahead and stay up for me. We'll definitely talk. All right, Alvito. Yeah. So, where you go? There you go. All right.
Yeah, I'm back.
So, Alvito, the reason why I don't take the Bible as evidence of anything, sure, we can use that as a guide to see if a historical event happened, such as, the Moabites or like the wars that Israel used to have, right? We can use it for that. But as far as the supernatural claims go, we can't really use it for that because supernatural claims, by definition, can't be proven historically or physically or scientifically. So I don't have an issue with the claims such as, the prophet Balaam being a guy, right? But did Balaam call on Yahweh to shoot down fire from the skies and light up pillars in order for the priest of Baal to actually see? Did that actually happen? That's what I'm saying is not in evidence, and we just can't go off the Bible to say that is true. Make sense?
So since you're gonna kick me anyway, are you American?
I'm gonna need you to mute up real quick while I talk to Alvito. I'll talk to you next. All right, stay on mute. All right, Alvito, go ahead.
Are you American?
Alvito, stay. I'm
Yeah.
not Alvito. Legend, stay on mute, please. All right, so go ahead, Alvito.
So you explained about a third, claim in the Bible. It could happen, or definitely might have never happened before. But evidence of like historical battles and also documented.
Yeah, I don't have any
I
issues.
really don't have time for this.
Hey,
Are you American?
Legend, I'm gonna need you to be quiet. Do not get.
Are you American?
All righty. All right, so Alvito, go ahead.
Yeah, so like there were like historians that jotted down these evidence that claim, even with Jesus, with other events, like the pillar of salt,
Yeah, so
all
Alvito
that
again.
stuff. All that stuff has been
Yeah, so
documented.
Alvito again. Alvito, let me just tell you for a second, like you're kind of breaking up, you're kind of matrix a little bit. But
Right.
the second thing I would say is like,
By
again,
the way, I am Legend. We're not letting you up here until Alvito is done because you can't follow directions. Just stay on mute. So
it's
you
easy,
come up
just-
after Alvito is done.
exactly, just follow directions, bro. Like it's not your turn yet. Let me talk to Alvito first. All right, so Alvito, so like again, I don't have an issue with like battles or anything like that happening, right? I don't have any issue with that. The moment it gets into supernatural things, that's when I'm having doubts, and because we never proven the supernatural to be true. So why would we take the biblical supernatural stories to be true just because it says so? Like we need more than just the Bible says so, right?
I mean, that's why there's a Bible. It's long as it's like supernatural current event, different historical events that occur. I mean, you can't, that's what makes the Bible so different and like from the other, regular history and stuff like that.
What do you mean is different from the other
So,
regular
like-
histories? Like what do you mean by
I
that?
mean, just like the stuff we learn in school, and as this is a spirit check,
All right, so Alvito, hold on. But Alvito, pause me real quick.
all the time.
Alvito, pause me real quick. Like you're really breaking up, bro. I'm not sure if you need to get to a better spot
Really bad.
or turn on your Wi-Fi. But I didn't hear a thing that you said.
Yeah, like the connection is not great.
Yeah, it's really bad. I didn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, hello.
That's a
My fault,
little
my fault. I
better.
probably just
but-
dropped out. I gotta get it.
Yeah. Go ahead and take a lap and come back and come back up.
I might have to stop. All right.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, bye.
Take a lap, come right back up. All right.
So you know what stands out to me biggest in that conversation? Because I used to be
Okay, I'm like, do you want to invite I Am Legend back up until he's able to get his connection?
Yeah. I'm legit could come back up.
You know what stands out to me in that conversation the most? Because I used to be a devout Catholic, altar boy and all. Is the story of Moses. Moses growing up in Egypt and them having the 42 laws of Ma'at?
Yeah.
If they already had the 42 laws of Ma'at, why would God need to present Moses with the 10 Commandments?
He wouldn't need it, right?
He would not need to because it was already present. So,
and not only that, there's doubts that Moses even existed as described in the Bible.
Absolutely.
You know what
And then the time frame, like when you start putting it together, when you actually take accounts from other actual historical accounts and then start comparing it to the Bible, the dynasties and the pharaohs don't even actually line up correctly.
Right. There's someone called Deconstruction Zone where he actually speaks about that. All right, so let me go ahead and get
to authority.
Hey, yeah, I'm Legend. Let's go ahead and I'll talk to I'm Legend. All right, so I'm Legend. Let's go ahead and talk. Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about America never being great?
I'm 50 years old, and I'm talking about American history.
All right, cool. So your question was, am I American? Yeah, I'm American by nationality, and my cultural background is from Haiti. So I'm a Haitian American.
So America, in your prompt, right? It says America was never cheap or great, right? So you were never great, correct?
No, me, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm awesome. Like, do you see this chocolatey skin and this nice bald head and this peppery beard? Oh yeah, I'm very great. Yeah, I mean, but when it comes to America, the way that I judge the greatness of a country is through their principles, their stated humane principles.
Never talked about the country,
humanes,
did I?
I'm talking. When I say America was never great, I'm talking about the country. Right? I'm talking about its how it's set up. I'm talking about its principles.
We're talking about the country.
I'm talking about the person.
I
don't know you from Canada.
Ask a specific question. Are you American?
Yeah.
He answered that.
I answered that already.
He said he was American by nationality. He was born here, and his cultural background is Haitian.
By definition, using his prompt, he was never great.
No, incorrect. Because there's I didn't say Americans as people. That's not what I said.
He said America.
America meaning the country, not the people. I didn't say.
Are you from America?
I am from America.
He literally
Are you from America?
From America.
Okay, so legend.
So you were never great.
Legend. I'm not sure if you're slow or stupid, but listen, there's a difference between the country and the people. These are different concepts. You understand that, right? Me saying America was never great is not American.
My wife
people.
says I gotta go.
You sure you got
you
one?
are American, and you were never great.
All right.
Much love.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on from stupidity. All right, guys, go ahead and keep tapping that screen. I appreciate y'all.
You got, I'm like, because you can cure ignorance, but you can't cure stupidity. Absolutely not.
He said in the comments, started that question for about half an hour. Was like, I got him. I got him. Wait till I get up there.
I just didn't, because if you could get an American passport, your nationality would be American. Your cultural and ethnic background is Haitian. Nationality and ethnicity and cultural background are not the same concept. And it's funny because I was getting into this. I literally just got into this this heated discussion. I don't know how. Well, it wasn't heated, but it was just ignorant because it was this person, right? Mm-hmm. She was. So she was born in Saudi Arabia, but both of her parents are Black American. And it's funny because I have never seen that because we rarely immigrate. to other places. We'll visit other places, but we rarely like immigrate permanently and raise our children outside of America. So it was interesting to me because you rarely see that. Like you see that with Caribbeans and like in people from Africa more than like Black Americans. Like we typically don't up and leave. So I was just like, oh, what was it like being a Black American? Like an ethnic Black American growing up in a different, because I had never seen that before. Like I had never, because most of us, we were in America. So I'm like, so it was interesting to talk. So I was like, she's not Black American. Like, no, like she literally just said she is. Like both of her parents are descendants of chattel slavery in America, which would make her ethnically Black American. Her nationality is a different conversation, but ethnically she is.
She is, yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and wait for more people to come up or come in. Y'all keep tapping that screen. Shout out to everybody who's watching me on YouTube. If you're watching me over on the Volcy Thoughts channel, I appreciate you watching me there. And if you're watching me over on Deconstruction Junction, I appreciate you there as well. All right, we have until January.
Actually, she had mentioned something, and I actually want to ask you about, because like she had said, like she came back to the States. Basically, her roots are in the DMV. I have maternal roots in the DMV, and basically she had said that like when she came back, like the Black American locals, like they didn't immediately like register her as one of us because she grew up. I'm like, do Haitians back in Haiti, like when you go back, like do they recognize that you're ethnically Haitian?
Not at all, because when I speak Creole, they hear the accent. I have an American accent in Creole, so it's they immediately know I don't have the accent. They know I'm not saying certain words right. I'm stuttering because I'm thinking of the word I'm supposed to say next. So they immediately registered like, oh yeah, this guy wasn't born in the. His guy was born in Haiti.
I was like, well, that's like, because she was saying that. I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, did you tell them that you were like Black American? Like your parents are both African Americans? Like. What did you say? She's like, yeah, but they did not believe me until they came to my grandma's house and really see my grandma making soul food.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't register, because it has to say that with me. So
I'm like, so I was interesting because I was like, I wonder if that's what Black immigrants experience in America when they go back home.
When they go back, oh yeah, they call me American. They were like, oh yeah, you're American. You was born over there. Yeah, I mean your accent is off. Yeah, I mean, so it's like you speak the language. Yeah, so you're American. You're over there. Like, all right, damn, y'all. All right, cool. But it's all still love. It's all still family. Like my friends, my Haitian friends who were born in Haiti and grew up there during middle school and a little bit of high school, and then immigrated over here. They said the same thing. They're like, bro, you was born and raised here, so yeah, you American. You got an American passport. We still got the Haitian passport. You got the American one, so you're American. I'm like, all right, y'all, cool. But it's all still love. It's not any tension now, but it doesn't register at all because of the way Did she have an accent as well? Did she have more of a Saudi accent than an American accent?
She had a little. She had a little bit of one. It was interesting because it was kind of mixed up, like a mix of a Saudi and an American accent. It was mixed up, and it's because I've had like that similar experience having parents from the South but being raised in the North because my accent is kind of a mixture of the two. And to the point that some people, like, especially when I get angry, like I've been asked, like, "Oh, were you from the South?" I'm like, "No, I'm from Pennsylvania, but my parents are from the DMV, and I'm like in Memphis in Tennessee, so I have
different roots, exactly." Oh man! All right, y'all. So we still here. We still chilling. We just waiting for someone to go ahead and hit that request box. Waiting for someone to. I had someone up here earlier. He was gonna talk to me, but all of a sudden he just disappeared. I guess his phone died. And we got Lust in the comments again. So Lust can come on up anytime he wants. Right now I'm using my phone. Because right now I just use the phone. So What's up, Timothy? Appreciate you being here, Timothy. Y'all go ahead and keep tapping that screen. Tap that screen. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be at the No Kings. No Kings protest is happening tomorrow. I know it's happening all over the country. It's gonna happen in Orlando tomorrow as well. So I'm at No Kings 3.0, interviewing some folks. Getting some perspectives, and if some agitators come along, people, of course, we're gonna get those because it's Florida.
Wait,
So,
what's the No Kings? I've heard of it, but I don't know what it's about.
No Kings is basically protesting Trump and fascism and everything like that.
Oh, that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's necessary, but
regardless. The problem, the reason I don't know about it, because I'm like, the moment that man got elected, I immediately clocked out.
Mm-hmm.
When we Black Americans said we was staying the fuck home, we meant that shit. Let everyone else got handle it.
Yeah, everyone else got handled.
Because we did our part. And we've been warning people for the past 10 years that this man was a fucking fascist. And no one wants to, of course, because they're anti-Black, so don't want to listen to Black people, but especially Black Americans. So, y'all, I'm like, you reap what you sow, bitch.
Exactly. Me, I usually go out there to, right now I'm going to be getting content, but I usually go out there just to connect with folks, see who's actually doing some activism, because protesting is fine, but we gotta make sure that we link up to shore up our defenses and to do some activism. And the last time I went, I did meet up with some good folks. I even met up with some Black militant folks who are out there who are talking about going to the ranges and stuff like that. Cool. Make those connections and make sure that we can shore up our defenses. But because protesting is not the only thing we could do. Yeah, I mean, we got to make sure that we do something. You feel me?
I'm like, yeah, but actually, to the point I was making, like with the Saudi girl who was ethnically Black American, I was in the comments because someone was like, ethnic and cultural identity are not the same. Like they was basically like, oh, you're ethnically African American but culturally Saudi. I'm like, that makes no sense because ethnicity is literally your cultural identity. Mm-hmm. So she was raised in a home with Black American customs and traditions. And I'm like, I'm sure she grew up eating soul food, hearing her parents speak AAVE, right? Like, she grew up with Black American traditions in her household because her parents are descendants of child slavery in America, ate the food, knew the language, the AAVE, the culture, the history, was raised with all those things. Yeah, she's a Black American.
Yeah,
she is.
Yeah, exactly. It usually is funny. Like whenever I go, like I said, when I go back to Haiti, they hear the accent, but they're surprised that I know about the history. I know about where cities are. I know who Pétionville is
like,
named after.
Like, because I'm Haitian, my parents are Haitian.
Parents are Haitian, y'all.
That's why I know.
That's why I know. That's why I know. Exactly.
Like her parents are like, it was the people were surprised. She's like, because at first people were like, well, why would you? Because like I wasn't really like majorly accepted by like the Black American community in Maryland. It was a culture shock. And she was, I'm like, and people were in the comments because B did not know right away. She was like, well, why would you be expected to be accepted by an ethnicity that you don't belong to? Like, that's what I'm like, I'm confused. But then when she's like, what y'all not getting is I actually am a Black American. I have two Black American parents. I was just raised in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I have two Black American parents, four Black American grandparents. My lineage is from America. Like, I'm not Caribbean, not African. I am Black American.
Exactly. A lot of times, just folks just don't know or understand. Just one of those things.
But it's also, I'm like, but I also think it's also to the fact that, like I said, Black Americans typically don't immigrate.
Don't immigrate. Yeah, exactly. A lot of immigration doesn't happen.
When you see Black people who are from different, when you see Black people who are from different places, the assumption is going to be that they're either Caribbean or they're from the continent of Africa in one of those countries and ethnicities, because Black people don't immigrate like that. Like, that's just not a thing that we do. Like, not in large. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but in large, we stay in our homeland.
Yeah, essentially.
That is just the truth.
One folks that I've never spoken to that I'll definitely have to talk to is the city people of India, because those are people who are descendants of the slave trade that went that way. Like that would be very interesting to talk to. All right, we got another. We got one more guest on the stage. Hold on, let me get his name first. Can I get your name, because it's just a smiley face on the thing?
My name's Andrew.
All right, Andrew. Andrew, are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something on the board?
Yeah, there's a lack of Pokemon on the board.
There's a lack of Pokemon.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm. Mewtwo, because he was trying to free people, bro, and there was Mew that wanted to stay enslaved to the Pokemon trainers. Mewtwo was trying to free them, bro. Like he was trying to free the folks.
Mewtwo was a product of the evil scientist that made him, and that's why he had so much hate in his heart. And then he realized at the end. Mm-hmm. So Mew was the good guy, and then at the end, they both like lived in harmony, and they just fucked off.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, y'all are speaking male, and I don't understand.
Yeah, no, this is Pokemon lore. Yeah, I mean, I get all that, right? Mewtwo was made by evil scientists and everything like that. He was cloned from Mew, but at the end of the day, like his ideology was righteous. His idea was righteous. Like, yeah, the Pokemon should be free instead of being trapped in paws and made to fight every single time. You know what I mean? Like they need to live in their own life and have some determination.
Yeah, but
now of course destroying the world was maybe a step too far, but being free, that's correct.
That was the part where you forgot the part where Mewtwo made those like clones, and then like the Pokemon were fighting each other's clones.
Yeah, that's that. So yeah,
but like,
yeah, he went crazy on that part. Yeah, he did. That's true.
But like, he had his agenda, and then he had his realization that Pokemon love, the Pokemon love the humans as well as companions, and they live amongst each other.
What's your favorite? Is your favorite Arceus, Mew, or who's your favorite?
I don't know, like Crobat.
Like Crobat.
Crobat's cool.
Yeah. Crobat's cool, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a fan of bats, but yeah. Crobat's cool. I don't mind Crobat. Like I think the first Pokemon card I ever had was a Squirtle. That's the first one I ever had.
Squirtle's cool too.
Yeah, and
a lot of Pokemon are pretty cool in general.
My homie had a holographic Charizard, right? And I told him, listen, keep your holographic Charizard because it's gonna be worth a lot one day. He was like, man, we're probably not even gonna live to see 2020 anyway. And lo and behold, in 2020, a holographic Charizard was worth like $50,000, $60,000. They're still worth a lot, you know what I mean? Because they're collectibles.
Yeah, bro, I got robbed on my Pokemon.
What happened to yours?
It's just like some school shit. It's just like some school shit. You get some school shit, and like some little asshole kid trying to steal your Pokemon cards, and then you got some really good Pokemon cards. So every time I just think of my Pokemon cards, I just think of some asshole stealing my Pokemon cards, and it makes me think like, man, should I just rob them back right now? Should I just find them right now?
I mean, if this was back in the 8th grade, you're probably not gonna find them now.
I'll find him. I know where he is. I know where he is.
Oh man, we such nerds, bro.
Dude, go up to him like a 12-year-old beef. I'm like, yo, what's going on with this?
Well, what happened to my Pokemon card, bro? What happened to my?
Y'all are such boy nerds.
we some dorks, bro.
I'm like, I bet y'all are smelly.
I got the loofah, you know what I mean? I got the African shower net. I got one of those. Oh, bet. But yeah, Josh, I do appreciate you, but we're gonna go ahead and try to get someone else on the stage. All right,
bro.
No, bro.
Right, happy Friday,
man.
Where did
the
God
other
bless.
person go? He was just here.
I think they probably dropped because they probably made a mistake. They probably dropped. So, but someone over on my YouTube said that they're gonna have someone go ahead and call in. All right. So whenever someone can, why weed? Whenever someone can, whenever they see the link,
like, just come over to TikTok.
Yeah, let's come over to TikTok because for tonight I don't have the call-in number. I have to do something else. So whenever they can, you can come on over. But yeah.
Tell them to come over. Tell them to come over to Volcy Thoughts TikTok.
Yeah, Michaela, was Pokemon before your time?
I'm like, no, I grew up with. I'm like, funny enough, like a lot of the boys that I grew up with loved Pokemon.
Pokemon was that shit.
I'm a girly girl, so I was more into Bratz.
Oh, Bratz, yeah, I remember Bratz. My lady liked Bratz too. She was really into Bratz. My sisters.
I'm like, I like I felt I liked Bratz more than Barbie because it felt more diverse, and I could see myself more in Bratz.
Oh, definitely. And I remember Kenya dolls as well.
Like Sasha was my girl. She was the black Bratz.
I remember that one. Yeah. I remember Bratz. I remember Kenya dolls. People was really into those. I remember what were the girls really into when I was growing up? A lot of the girls who I was growing up with, surprisingly,
funny enough, like I'm like I also grew up on Hannah Montana. That's the
Hannah
one
Montana
thing I grew.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's funny because she just had the 20-year anniversary and my Disney Plus is not paid, so I couldn't watch it. So I'm gonna be watching it as soon as I pay it on it first. Cause like I'm so mad because I don't think you understand. That is the one thing that I'm like that brought girls all together from all different backgrounds with Hannah Montana.
When I was growing up,
like we loved that.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it was that. It was also Sailor Moon. Like my sisters were obsessed with Sailor Moon. You know what I mean? Fighting evil by moonlight.
I grew up on Jump In with Kiki Palmer, and I'm like
Jump In.
Yeah, Jump In.
I remember that. I remember Jump In.
Oh, Jump In, and it's funny because that is literally Black girlhood. Like
Double Dutch.
The Double Dutch, yeah, a girl. It was at the tip of my tongue. Yeah, Double Dutch is like it's so intrinsically Black American girl. It's such a thing.
Double Dutch.
I'm like, it is almost as intrinsically Black girlhood as getting your hair done for Easter Sunday. It's feeling the birth of a hot comb and the smell of blue magic on your scalp.
Yep, and also this. You and me will never part. Yeah, that too. Hand games. I remember I saw a video where there was a Black American person who went down to Colombia and there was a Black Brazilian there too, and they all had the same hand game.
I saw that video. I told you about that months ago. I saw that exact same video, and I'm like, I was gagged that they were so simple. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm really surprised they have the same hand games, y'all. Like, yeah, we all came from the same spot, you know what I mean? So the hand games are gonna stay.
I'm like, now, granted, there were some differences because of culture, but like they were very similar, and it gagged the shit out. And I'm like,
yeah, extremely similar. I know in Haiti they do the same thing. To have Joseph, are you gonna be able to come up or not, bro? Like, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm like, I promise you, I'm not dropping Joseph. Like, I'm
not either. I think he just said that he's like eating something right now. He's gonna come up later, but I thought he was done. That's why I told. I let him come up.
But we saw him in the guest request. Like, I'm like, what's going on with your phone, Joseph?
Like, let us know what's going on, Joseph.
Your phone, your tablet.
Y'all remember to keep tapping that screen. If you're over on the YouTube. The link is pinned to the top or to the bottom. You can go ahead and hit that pin and join in and let me know if you want to go ahead and talk to me. And if you're over,
that's the thing.
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, if you're over on the Facebook, the link is also pinned. You can go ahead and talk to me on the pin right there. If you're over on YouTube and if you're over on Twitch as well, the link is also pinned there. So you can go ahead and talk to me if you would like to come over and have that discussion, have that conversation. But yeah, what you were saying, Michaela?
No, what I was going to say, and essentially what I was getting to was it was interesting to me to see how similar those games were. Because, like, mind you, we're not from the same country. We are completely different ethnicities, completely. we just happened to share some some ancestry, but it was so I was like I felt like I was having an out of body experience watching that video with the Black American girls and the black Brazilian girl. But that's the one thing I will say about Black Brazilians. Black Brazilians are probably the only group in the Black diaspora who hasn't directly disrespected Black Americans yet. I will say that. I ain't never had a bad experience with a Black Brazilian. Them Black Brits, them South. I'm like, girl, I could go down the list. It would not be too much, too long.
The Brits be on some shit, bro. I'm like, bro, what's the beef? Like, y'all understand that living in being a minority in a white supremacist society. Y'all both get that, right? Y'all are both pushed towards the projects. Like, yeah, well, what's the beef?
Like the Brits. Like the Brits get on the South Africans wore me out. I told them it was up and stuck after that whole Zulu parade situation where they were telling Black Americans to go pick cotton and shit, and then had the nerve to get mad. Oh, girl, oh, child. So essentially, there was a situation in in New Orleans. Apparently, they had this thing called the Zulu Parade, which I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. But essentially, they paint their faces black, and they thought that it was. I'm like, yeah. Like I don't know what anything is. Or what it came from, but I've heard it was them black Hebrew Israelite niggas. It's not even majority of black New Orleans, but that is the whole thing. So they saw that, and then there's like, well, this doesn't represent Zulu culture, whatever. I'm like, I guess some people from New Orleans was like, fuck that, da, da, da. They came after Black Americans in all 50 states. Like just coming at like all of us, and they responded. There was this girl, I Can't Complain, literally making fun of Black American slavery, picking cotton. Just all the Black American woman stereotypes. It was just abhorrent. And I'm like, and then I had South Africans coming for me in the comments because I was like, what's going on? Because I came on, I just came up, I was off TikTok for a couple of days. I come on this all, so I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I'm confused. They attacked me in the comments, wishing police brutality on me. I'm like, and so I told they motherfucking ass. I hope them white Afrikaners bring apartheid. I'm like you ignorant
apartheid
bitch. And then a bitch, and then I'm like, and then go back because bitch, you're not gonna wish. I'm gonna wish a police brutality and make fun of my oppression and think I'm not gonna do the same to you, bitch. No, I'm like, and I'm gonna remind you that you have a whites only town and a black majority country, bitch. I'm gonna remind you of of that shit. Yeah. So it was up and stuck with Black Americans in the South for months. Months on this app. It was so bad.
It was bad. All right, y'all. Let me do this. I'm gonna do a quick reset. Give me about a few minutes. I'm gonna be right back. Over on the YouTube, you guys will still be seeing it, but I'm gonna do a quick reset. All right. All right, y'all. I had to restart it for a second. I just had to do a quick reset. Y'all. I just had to do a quick reset. But we are back at it. We back at it. I just had to do a quick reset. Tap that screen, y'all. Tap that screen. I just had to do a quick reset, y'all. Because we weren't getting any guests. I think I probably fell out the algorithm. So I had to do a quick reset. Come on back. I'm only gonna be live on for probably like another 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Just have to do a quick reset. The link is old now, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that link up. I'm gonna change that link because that link is gonna be old. So let me go ahead and change that link. Give me 1 second. All right, y'all. So go ahead and tap that screen. Tap in. All right, y'all. So go ahead and tap that screen one more time for me. I just had to go ahead and hit a quick reset. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get the tapping that screen. Once again, I appreciate everybody being here. We're going to go ahead and tap that screen and make sure that we can get some guests in here. We're going to make sure we get some folks in here. I'm going to be on probably for the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'll be on. We get some guests, and then I'll go ahead and get out of here, all right? I'm going to go ahead and be on for another few minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. All right, y'all. So once again, the link is pinned. Once again, the link is pinned. All right. So Moses over on my YouTube says that he voted for Trump and he's black. Great for you, I guess. Go ahead and come on over and we could talk about that. All right. So over on my YouTube, I do have a super chat that I want to read. It says, do the religious right actually believe Jesus would bomb little girls in school or cage children in detention centers with no food or care? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird, right? How the religious right supports these like horrific things, right? They support these like very horrific things, but is that what Jesus would have supported? Would Jesus have supported leaving kids in cages and stuff like that? Would Jesus have supported the treatment of what we see with undocumented? Would he have supported that? Especially the fact that the ICE detention centers are full of, you know, sexual assaulters, and I'm talking about the ICE members here. I'm talking about them, because how the hell, like, you get a whole bunch of teenagers in an ICE or border patrol facility, they all get pregnant, but the females are away from the males. They're kept in different parts of the facility. The females are getting pregnant. The teenage females are getting pregnant, and then nothing happens to the ICE agents. There's no investigation.
So where are they getting pregnant from if it's not from the guard?
Exactly. Exactly. Who's getting them pregnant? Yeah, I mean, so it's like these things.
But Volcy, I think you're giving them too much, because these are the same people who want to lower the age of consent to 12. Like that was a whole conversation. Okay, these are the same people who don't want to feed children, American children. Like let's just take immigrants out of it. They don't want to feed American children, like actual by citizenship American children. They don't want to do anything to protect American children.
Exactly. Exactly. So
they use abortion, like we talked about yesterday, as a disguise of protecting the children. But when it's actually time to protect children, they don't give a damn about that.
Give a shit. They don't give a they give too
That's
less
why
of
I
a shit.
call it all the time. It is a fallacy.
Mhm.
Y'all do not care about children like that. And as a former foster youth, I definitely know y'all don't care about children like that.
Exactly.
So
they give too less of a shit, because if y'all really cared, why are y'all fighting or so against free school lunch? The most trivial thing out there. We demand that kids be in school 8 to 9 hours a day, but y'all don't want to feed them. That's insane. Complete insanity. It is complete insanity.
But see, one of the things about them is that they're never going to be honest about why. Let's get to the why, the nitty gritty of it. They're not going to get to, because the truth of the matter is these people are racist, sexist, all of the things. They do not believe. They're classist. Because let's get into the whole school lunch thing. That's really classism. Yeah. They don't care about poor children.
They care about poor children.
And and I would add racism on top of that, because they actually feel like they're getting back at the black children. Because of things like redlining, and all of the things that have happened in this country. Most black people and most black children are in poverty, so that would automatically.
Yeah, exactly. It will automatically affect black children. Now, I mean, not knowing. They're basically, cutting off their
not
nose
knowing that they're affecting white poor people too. But see, but they don't care about white poor people as long as they can get at black people. And truth be told, white poor people feel the same way. And I'm like,
which is always insane to me, bro.
They will vote against their own interests as long as a nigga and getting the same thing as them. They don't care. Like let's actually be real about that. Like that's why when white people get up here talking about how poor they are, first of all. You had a 400-year head start. I don't care about you crying about being poor, especially if you're a white man. You're a male in a patriarchy and a white supremacist society, and so you're white and male in a racist, white supremacist, patriarchal society. I don't give a damn that you're poor. I don't. I have no empathy for white men crying that that their EBT is getting erased. Because bitch, y'all had a 400-year head start. Basically, what you're telling me is you didn't maximize your white privilege and your male privilege. Your ancestors didn't.
Yeah, your ancestors fucked up somehow, some way, bro. Because I don't know how you had a 400-year head start and you still end up generationally poor. One of your ancestors one of them screwed up, bro. And not only that,
means that they didn't maximize their privileges properly. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I mean, what the crazy thing that I always say, right, is that repairing systemic issues for black people in America will also improve the conditions of everybody else. But folks are too stuck on cutting off their nose to spite their face.
But that is the thing; they do not give a damn. The problem is race. Fuck classism. Fuck all of the roots comes down to this: racism. Anti-blackness. Misogyny, all the things come right back to that exact problem, because even white poor people feel like they are better than even rich black people because they are white.
Yeah, we see it all the time. Like especially comedians online. They stay. There's a comedian I follow called Will Mills. He stays getting inbox by racist white folks. He even posted a video of him and this racist white man arguing back and forth. And this man lives in a house that's worth $25,000. It's like, bro, I would have been mad at you too. I would have been mad too.
Let's be real, but see, let's get to the why that they're mad. They're mad because despite having the systemic advantage of being white, seeing a black person thriving and more than them makes them angry because they feel like they are entitled to that by the virtue of being white. Let's actually clock what the actual issue is.
Exactly.
The same people that want to talk about DEI and white men are so disadvantaged, despite the fact that y'all have been literally disadvantaging black people for the past 400 years. No care about that. This the fact that that we have to that you have to be on an equal playing field, and you actually have to work, and your whiteness and your maleness are no longer able to compensate for your mediocrity. Just that mere thing. They wasn't even benefiting black people like that, by the way. But the fact that you have to compete on a fair playing ground makes white men upset because they know that without their whiteness and their maleness being at the forefront of them being able to access certain spaces, that them by the virtue of their work, their ethic, who they are as a person, cannot get them through them doors. They know it. They know they're mediocre, which is why they had to traffic thousands and millions of Africans across the Atlantic Ocean to this goddamn country to do the work for them because they're lazy and hypocrites.
Yeah, I'm seeing a whole bunch of folks join, but no one's coming up. So I'm not sure if it's because they agree or they're afraid of the topic or what. But I do have lots of folks over on the YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't have the phone number up today, but I keep telling them, hey, y'all, the link is right there. Y'all can join and have the discussion with me if you want. Unfortunately, they don't all have TikTok, I guess. But I'll find a way one day to post a link where we all will be able to hear each other, because I don't like talking back and forth to the comments. That's not something that I like to do. So one day I'll have that link up.
But the mighty Mr. Mac absolutely would have supported Jesus and blamed Obama.
Oh,
listen,
definitely.
And that's another thing. The Trump's obsession with the Obamas is actually crazy. Like, no one talks about that enough. The Obamas haven't even been in office for over 10 years, and the right is still obsessed with them. Like, I'm gonna need Obama to just read them people one good time. Because Michelle's version of, I'm sorry, I love me some Michelle Obama, but but when they go low, you know how it don't always work. No, I'm gonna need you to go to the pit of hell. Show them a true N-word. Show them.
Yeah, you got at a certain point, you're just gonna have to show your ass, bro, because it's like I'm tired of going high. You know what I mean? We can't go high no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to go to the pits of everlasting hell. All right, that's what we have to go
to the abyss and drag them bitches by their scalp.
Exactly, man. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here in a few. I've been on for about an hour, 20 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here in a few because I want to go ahead.
Voter says, page 2 defended DHS. The Democrats want. I think that's your cue.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
Voter.
Yeah, I told Voter go ahead and come on up. Yeah, I mean, I told him go ahead and come on up. But I think it's a troll page because I can't request them. Okay, we have another person putting a Bible verse. Let's see if they can come up. And of course they can.
For some reason, I'm not able to request them up. Like, that's weird. But.
Exactly. That person doesn't want to come up.
Okay.
All right. So the person who put that Bible verse, you can come on up if you want. But we have a guest. All right. So Bach, we have Bach coming up to the stage. How's it going, Bach? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with something I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm 36. I'm from Ghana.
Great. What did you disagree with?
It has to do with the reparations for Black Americans.
Oh, okay. This is going to be very, very contentious because I was going to say, wait, you said you disagree with reparations for Black Americans?
No.
Oh, you don't disagree? Oh, okay.
And he's Ghana because I'm about to drag him after what's been going on the past few days.
Yeah, because Ghana just literally went out there and said that Europe owes Africa reparations and America owes Black people reparations. So yeah,
they're trying to steal Black Americans reparations. Let's clock that, because what he was stating was not even a benefit to Black Americans. Like, he's trying to use the reparations movement in America to repair Ghana, not our ethnic group here in America. Despite the fact that Ghana is on record for participating in the transatlantic slave trade. In fact, because of that, and they're so on record that that whole back to Africa thing was particularly one of the countries was Ghana to repair and to repair Black Americans with Ghanaian ancestry to be able to come back to the continent, because they do recognize that they participated in the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing, let me take a look at, because I heard a different story, is that he's saying that reparations should happen, but the reparations that should go to Black Americans, I'm not saying that he wants that, but he's saying that reparations should happen. Like that is correct.
I'm like, no, because that's what I've been getting. That they basically he's trying to latch on to Black Americans' reparations claim. And that is a concern for many Black Americans that Black people from the diaspora are going to to latch onto that. That's been a concern because of the idea, like and that's why ethnic distinctions and ethnic clarification is very important, because when we're talking about, racially, we're all Black, right? But in America, like the people who have been here for 400 plus years, and your parents choosing to immigrate here, that's a very different context to people being brought here in chains, and that's where I get annoyed, because that is very disingenuous.
Right.
To compare those two things.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get you in a second. All right, so this is what I was reading from what he said as far as the U.S. goes. He said that he regretted that Washington must once again remind his body that the United Nations exists to maintain international peace and security. It was not founded to advance narrow interests and agendas, et cetera, et cetera. He said, furthermore, the U.S. does not recognize a legal right to reparations for historical wrongs that were not illegal under international law at the time they occurred. That's what I'm seeing. True. Which
I do agree with, but also here is the thing that I also want to include in it, because he did say that the transatlantic slave trade was the greatest
sin to ever happen,
sin to humanity, and I do agree with that. The only thing that I want to expand, but it's not the only thing, because what happened to Black Americans post slavery, post emancipation, because that's also the issue with the reparations. With reparations is people try to act like slavery, when slavery is the only thing that the American government owes Black Americans for. No, like we went through black codes, we went through Jim Crow, we went through redlining. There was the war on drugs. There was there's police brutality. There is medical racism and so many different things. Like that is a problem.
Yeah.
So slavery
definitely
slavery alone is not the only thing.
Not the only thing. Yeah. No. That's the only pushback I was giving, because as far as what the president said, he was basically saying today we come together in solemn solidarity to affirm truth.
I'm like, well, right, legendary, but I couldn't say that on TikTok. But I do agree. But that falls under Jim Crow as well, because that was happening with impunity under Jim Crow, and that's still actually happening. Strange shootings.
Exactly. All right. So Bach, I'm gonna start your counter over. I do apologize for that. So Bach, did you disagree with anything? Because you said you agree with the reparations for Black Americans. So did you disagree with anything?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with the reparations for the. Sorry, I'm speaking my Ghanaian English, so if you don't,
I can understand you perfectly fine. You're good.
So, you see, while I agree with reparations for Black Americans, there are certain comments they make when you hear as an African, it gets you angry. It seems some of them are not looking at the larger picture of what we are seeking to do. Who's talking about money? Who is going to take Black Americans' money? Do you know what Ghana has gone through? Who even told you slavery has stopped?
It hasn't. That's another thing.
Have they danced? Some of them, when they make comments.
Well, it has on paper in America.
Please let me speak. Okay? On daily basis, do you know how our resources are transported over there? Do Africans get to determine their own prices for their commodities?
Yeah. Of course, yeah, Buck. So yeah, we agree with that. Like neocolonialism.
Yes. I'm coming. I'm establishing a point.
I got you. We agree with you. We agree with you there. It hasn't stopped.
For 400 years,
neocolonialism is still a thing.
For 400 years, in those days, what was civilization in Africa? The people have come to use their, what they feel like they know better, to put our ancestors in the condition that make them do what they didn't even understand. And you and I saying we sold you. Do you know how much resources have been taken out of Ghana to European countries? Do you know what artifacts that have moved from Ghana to United Kingdom? Gold.
Yeah. So Bach, I want to pause you real quick.
And you see,
hold on, Bach.
So some of them, I'm
pause real
coming.
quick. No, hold on. Just give me a second.
I'm coming.
Just give me a second. Bach, hold on. Just give me a second. So everything that you're talking about, we all know and you agree with, right? But we just kind of need you to land the plane. Are you talking about like how the discussion of reparations?
Wait, hold on. Give me a second. Some of the Black Americans are so damn. They are so damn. They're not even thinking.
Bach, hold on, bro. Hold on. Slow down. Because I want to get to where the meat of the discussion is. We're talking about how this reparations conversation happens between the diaspora, because I think we all agree that it should happen, right? But there's a lot of mistrust going on because of not only just the diaspora wars, but unfortunately because of history. Yes, a lot of the tribes over in Africa who are the elite tribes, you're probably not part of that elite tribe, but who are part of the elites, they did sell us over here, right? So there's a historical mistrust happening, and I get that people are on the defensive. So we do understand what you're saying, Bach. You know, Europe still takes advantage of Africa, still enslaves them in different ways. But are you trying to get to how the conversation is going about, and that we need to be more open to understanding each other instead of being contentious? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yes, I get you. And that is how we're supposed to approach the whole matter. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you see, they were so parochial looking at it, that as if Africans are coming to take what belongs to them. You see, do they initiate anything until Ghana made this initiative? Have they initiated anything to indicate that they need reparation for what happened to them?
Yeah. Black Americans have been fighting for reparations for years in America.
So if you have been fighting, have you gotten the attention of the UN?
No, and that's the thing. Matter of fact, actually, yes. Hold on. Bach, I need you to slow down, bro. I need you to slow down. Give me a second. All right. So yes, Black Americans did fight for reparations in the United States and taken out to the Supreme Court, and it actually was taken up to the UN. The UN actually said a few years ago, I'm not sure who took it to them. I think it was Sandy Darity, if I'm not mistaken. But the UN actually did said that yes, the United States owes African Americans reparations. That did happen a few years ago. It's just that right now on this international stage,
and I think I remember something in California happening with the California state. They were talking about it. It was a conversation happening in California for Black Americans as well.
Right, exactly.
On the state.
Exactly. Level. So Bach, what I want to say is that I'm hearing a bit of frustration in your voice on the way that the reparations conversation is going. Hey, appreciate the TBV rate. I appreciate that. I hear a bit of frustration in your voice on how the reparations conversation is going, and the fact that there are Black Americans who probably come at you or other Black immigrants as if you are the enemy and want a resource from them. Because I dealt with that as well too, where I was said that, you know, me being Haitian, just living in the United States, I'm somehow wanting to take resources away from Black Americans, which is silly. Of course, that's silly. But Michaela is not that type of person. None of the Black Americans who are on my panel or on my live are those type of people. So there's no reason for us to fight.
I don't have any beef as long as respect for Black Americans is in the conversation. I don't have any beef with anybody, but disrespect towards my ethnic group, not taking historical, because we're talking about reparations. There are different historical contexts that have to be considered, right? It's a completely different. There's historical context. There's cultural differences. There's the histories like colonialism and in Africa and the colonialism that happened in America are two different contexts. Because even the colonialism that happened in Africa happened I think some of it, you could quote me if I'm wrong, happened after slavery had been let me just say illegally abolished. It still was legal in the 13th Amendment. You know, prison is technically legal slavery in the United States. That's still a thing. But but people aren't forced to pick cotton and work for free in the same way, like the average. That's where I'm getting at. But
yeah, so Bach, like
context.
I got you. So Bach, I hear you, right? There are people who are bad actors that come at Africans and Caribbean people as if we're trying to steal stuff from them. I get that. There are bad actors. But for the most part, the conversation is mostly an issue of talking past each other and lack of communication. But the moment that we all just, let down the understand to come up to the conversation in good faith, then I think we can go ahead and get more things done.
Now I will say this: I do think the conversation around reparations should be led by people that particular place. So I think reparations in America, that's a conversation that needs led by ethnic Black Americans. I think Caribbean. I think y'all have WorkCom. That should be led by Caribbeans. I'm like, I do even support because of the colonialism that happened in Africa. I absolutely support the fact that that there needs to be a restoration to countries on the African continent, especially the
especially Western Central.
I don't have an issue with acknowledging, as far as reparations are concerned, for Black Americans. That needs to not only be led by Black Americans, but I do think that reparations and that restorative justice to the African continent need to be done separately. Right? Reparations for Black Americans needs to be for Black Americans, and that is my thing.
Right. Exactly.
And I also think for the Caribbean, I don't see African Americans trying to latch on to any CARICOM claim. That is not a thing that's happening.
Right.
Because it's not ours. We weren't enslaved in the Caribbean.
Right. So when it comes to the global conversation, yeah, we can say it globally. People of African descent should get restorative justice and reparations globally. I think that's what the UN resolution was about, that the Atlantic slave trade was a crime against humanity, and we need to work towards restorative justice. And because America is yeah, exactly. So, and because America is the basically the leader of the free world and funds a good portion of the UN, about 25%, they need to recognize this, right? Which is what the president was saying. The president was saying that y'all need to recognize that reparations should happen. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I get where you're coming from, Bach. There's bad actors out there, but we need to ignore those people and talk between each other. Otherwise, we're just gonna approach this conversation with our defenses up. You see what I'm saying? And we shouldn't be approaches as these people are my opponents and think that I'm trying to be bad faith. Let's approach it with good faith until the person shows their bad faith.
On the Black American. Now, on the Black American side, there are defenses up because not only because of the disingenuous conversations, but also because this is a conversation that is not ever acknowledged, that there are Black Africans and Caribbeans that come to the United States with white supremacist, racist notions about Black Americans because of American propaganda. We just experienced that yesterday. First of all, a white Canadian came up here talking about, because when we brought up sundown towns in the United States, talking about would it be dangerous for him to walk around Compton? Like,
yeah, the propaganda is crazy. You know what I mean? But I hope you understand. I'm gonna let Bach talk. We've been talking for a while. I'm gonna let Bach talk for a second. Bach, you understand what we're saying and coming from, right?
Yeah, I understand you. But you see, people like Michaela are the problem.
No, she's not, bro. She's not the problem. Again, she approaches it with good faith. She's not the problem.
You see, when my president speak about slavery being a historical crime, we are looking at what policy direction going forward.
Okay.
What is the policy direction going forward? Such that even Black Americans, wherever you are, that you are treated in a way that is not contemptuous, simply because you are Black American.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because
I have acknowledged that.
So
and I'm Black American.
The issues goes beyond what they are thinking, that this is what Africans are proposing, and Ghana is a leading. Like in terms of reparation, they should bring billions of dollars to Ghana to spend. Do you know the resources Ghana has?
Yeah, we understand. Yeah. So listen,
But
Ghana, places like Ghana, Congo, Nigeria, they could be Wakanda for real, right? We get that.
We are damn resourced. You see,
I've never denied that Africa
progress.
has resources.
We have made progress. We have made progress for others, for Black Americans to even come to Ghana, establish their own.
All right, man. So yeah, it's just getting disingenuous.
Because he's giving that he just don't like Black Americans, and that be the shit I be talking about.
Yeah, he's giving that he has some sort of bone to pick with the people who have an issue with him all the time. Like that has nothing to do with us.
I'm like because here's the thing. I literally just didn't I just mention earlier that I'm like the thing that Ghana was trying to do, that to come home to Africa to bring to restore the fact that Ghanaians were involved. And like did I not just say that? So so I'm the problem because I'm Black American, but because he sees the Haitian flag in your bio. See, that's the bias.
Yeah. All right, let's talk to Ramses. I'm sorry. Ramses, how's it going, Ramses? Are you at least 18 and did you disagree with something on the board?
Fine, thanks, and I am at least 18, yes.
Okay. Did you disagree with something on the board?
Well, let's see. America was never great. I think, although I don't agree with many of the policies of imperial nations, I think it just depends on how the world sees it. Maybe not from the opinion of the oppressed, but maybe from the opinion of, say, others who may be world powers or what have you. They may think America is great. It depends on how you define it. The dollar obviously is the strongest currency in the world. It is they have the strongest military, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So when it comes to
so I would say
America was never great, right? So when it comes to America was never great. The way that I'll talk about it is basically if you follow your stated pro-human, pro-social principles, right? Because America does have principles that are pro-human, pro-social, and are positive, in my opinion, such as freedom, liberty, justice for all, equal opportunity for all, meritocracy, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, etc., etc. Those are the principles that it stands by. However, does it build institutions? Hold on, real quick.
Hey, name is Jordan. Let me respond.
So does it? Hold on, wait, I'm not done. Does it build institutions?
Name is Jordan. Hell Engine 66.
Hold on, real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
Does it build institutions in a society that promotes those and spreads those to everyone, including their most marginalized group? And we've seen throughout American history that it doesn't. And as a matter of fact, some of the institutions that it has built actively go against it, especially the criminal justice systems, for example, that it was actively built to target and medical and the medical criminal justice system, the medical system. Those institutions were literally built not only on discrimination, but still continue it. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to those type of things, is it following its principles, and did it build institutions that follow those principles and spread it to everybody? America doesn't, and until it does, it can't be great.
Okay, may I respond to that?
Sure.
Yeah, because we're not disagreeing that American currency is one of the strongest currencies currently.
I understand, and I understand that's an idealistic. What you're presenting is an idealistic, shall we say, perspective, and no country can live up to any of that, and no country ever has, and I don't think any country ever.
That's true, though.
Well, name one.
I don't know. What I'm saying is that to have equality and equity across all fractions of America. I don't think that is an unfair. Not only is it unfair ask, but I don't think that is impossible to implement, because we have seen glimpses of it in American history. For example, my grandparents went through Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is a glimpse of what America can be, and when progress happens.
I would, again, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying he stated a lot of principles, and I'm just saying no country has ever lived up to that. No country currently lives up to that, and I don't think any country ever will live up to essentially what you're saying is perfection.
I'm not saying about perfection. I'm talking about perfection. So like I get that no country has lived up to that, but I'm not saying that no country. I do disagree with the fact that no country can live up to that. America has shown that it actually can. I'm not sure how we can have for example, why is it impossible to not have discrimination in medicine or not have discrimination in the criminal justice system? Why is that an impossible thing to ask?
Why is it impossible to ask for me not to be discriminated for my hair or me being for my sex, being female?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
There are things that they're still going to have problems, right? There's still going to be biases like nepotism, favoritism. Those things are going to happen. But outright discrimination within the institution and ignoring it and perpetuating it, I think those things can be fixed. That's what I mean.
I would agree with that, and I think to some extent there's been improvement. There needs to be a lot of improvement. But when you look
there has been. I just acknowledged one of them, which was for example, my grandparents, my great grandparents, their parents were born during the Jim Crow era. My grandmother, if we were to go to Memphis right now, we would go back to our family from in Memphis right now. She could point out where the colored water fountains used to be at. Right. So there has been glimpses of of equality throughout American history. In 2015, gay marriage was passed, right? Like, so gay people could get married, right? There have been, even in the 1970s, women were able to open up a bank account without a male signature, right? And without a male cosigner. In 1993, it became officially a crime to grape your wife, marital rape. So there have been situations throughout American history where it has shown glimpses of what America can be.
Okay, so let me just agree and say America's never been great. Okay, can I go to the second one?
Sure.
Okay, leftist policies are better for people. I think it depends. I don't think left or right policies are better for people necessarily. I think there are some policies of each that are beneficial and some that are detrimental. No party is, I don't think any party necessarily addresses all issues. And really, when you look at the American system, both of the parties are going to still support the dominant, shall we say, concept of white supremacy. I don't think.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm going to the next. Okay. Can I go to the next one, or you want to comment?
I want to comment. Yeah, I agree with that. There's no party. I think both parties, just like how you said, they favor a certain thing of white supremacy. When I talk about policies, I'm not talking about the parties, right? I'm talking about what the Democrats or Republicans do. I'm talking about like what policies to put in place that are better for people. Like, for example, when I say leftist policy, I'm talking about things like universal health care, investment into infrastructure, investment into renewable energies, parental leave.
Is gay marriage positive? Is transgender policies, is that positive?
Those are positive, yes, because those support equality and equity. So those are positive.
So you think it's okay for men to compete just because they change their gender against women?
Well, that's not a policy, right? That's something hold on. So when it comes to being transgender, right? Being transgender is not a policy. Being transgender is a disposition that someone has. It's a gender identity. That's number one. But having rights,
it's supported by the Democratic Party.
Right, so
that's the point.
Hold on, Ramses, listen. A person being transgender is not a policy. Them having equal rights is a policy. And if a person is a transgender person, there's no reason why they shouldn't have equal rights. Now, is joining a sport a right? That's something that has been debated about from the beginning of time, right?
And I'm not even trying, and I'm not here to even debate that. I would say if they didn't go through male puberty, there's no question that they should be allowed.
I disagree with that strongly. I would just say again,
so
I
you
wasn't.
Disagree. So what advantage would they have if they didn't go through male puberty?
Okay, here's the deal. Men and women are different. They have different muscle structures. There's a reason that they.
Yes,
Ma'am, may I finish my statement, ma'am? You interrupted me. Can I just finish?
Whose phone is ringing? Okay, there we go.
No,
Can I finish? I finish my statement? You're walking over me a little bit. What I'm saying is there's a difference between male and female, and that structure is established probably somewhere beginning in the third trimester of pregnancy. And in terms of, ma'am, I mean, can I finish? Or,
I'm like, yes, I'm trying, but I'm a mod, so I have the right to correct you.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just stop and let you talk. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm like, so no one is saying that men and women are the same. There are not differences through puberty. For example, what you just mentioned, muscle mass. That is due to the fact that males go through a testosterone-based puberty. Things like, so you mentioned one. Also, hormone therapy, and trans people reduces muscle mass and bone density.
Not significantly.
So
not enough, ma'am.
It does because they can't compete against men. They can't compete against men because they would actually be at an unfair advantage. And if you're not acknowledging that,
it's the same thing.
You're denying that transition does change the body.
It doesn't change it enough.
Right. So Ramses, let me just come in real quick. Ramses, when you say it doesn't change it enough, that's not shown within the recent studies, right? In the recent studies, it shows that this is actually a lot more complicated than it changes it enough or doesn't change it enough. There are some advantages in some, and there are disadvantages in others, right? So it's a mixed bag. It's not a clear-cut thing.
I have a solution.
Hold on. It's not completely clear-cut. So because it's not completely clear-cut, what we need to do is to actually get more research and study this more, because we don't have enough yet to make a policy decision. And the second thing that I would say is that when it comes to leftist policies when around trans people, the policy is to give them equal rights, to give them equal access to all resources, right? And there is no reason why we shouldn't, because they are still human. Even someone who is even someone who is a disgusting person that none of us would agree with, a PDF file, even they still have equal rights to us until they commit their crime, and then we send them to jail and they don't have any rights anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But what
let
I'm saying is
me
that
ask you a question.
No, it's not okay for someone like that to be around children. We all get that, right? The point I was trying to make, hold on, the point I was trying to make is that even they get equal rights, and there's no point to take away a right from a trans person. There's no point of that.
Okay, so it's okay for them to. Okay, may I say something? Is it okay for her to use the bathroom with your daughter? Would it be okay?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh, really? Okay. Do you? Okay, let me give you some examples in prison. You know that women have gotten pregnant in prison by trans men.
And yes, and women have gotten pregnant in prison by.
So you're okay.
Hold on. A lot.
Hold on. Everybody slow down, because we just can't keep throwing things at the board. Yes, I understand that in a certain prison in America, women got pregnant by trans men, but there are also women who got pregnant by prison guards, which is rape.
Well, that's expected.
It's expected for women to get raped in prison.
Well, I'm talking about bathrooms right now. We were talking about
you know who bought up prisons?
Well, I'm talking about separate bathrooms. Was it okay?
No. You bought up prisons.
I gave you an example of how that trans person still can act out their male,
right?
And their male.
So Ramses.
Hold on, because here's the thing. That person you were talking about wasn't even trans. That's first. Second, and here's the thing: hormones change the body, which you have yet to acknowledge. So I'm like, and it changes how the reproductive organs work. A person who is post-operative, meaning they have had surgery, they don't have a penis. Why shouldn't they be allowed to use the women's restroom?
Yeah, and another thing, you're gonna run into a problem, Ramses, of trying to check everyone's genitals, because right now I'm pretty sure a trans person used the bathroom designated to females, and you had no idea. You know what I mean? And not only that, you're gonna run into an issue of what about masculine presenting women, masculine presenting lesbians? Because there are lesbians who dress like me, who dress like you, who are masculine presenting. Are we going to be checking their genitals or harassing them to make sure that they don't have a pee-pee?
No, I will be honest. Weird. You typically know that they're women, typically, but not always. But typically,
not always.
That they're women based on their their female secondary sex characteristics. I will not be disingenuous.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You get that, right? But what we've seen is that studs, especially in the South, they've been reporting about getting harassed because white women are saying that they're male and they're not. You see what I'm saying? So Ramsey, at a certain point, you're gonna get into a point where are we gonna have the genital police outside the people just want to pee, bro. Like let people alone. Not only that, if someone wants to hurt someone in a restroom, if a man wants to hurt a woman in a restroom, do you really think a sign on the door is going to stop it?
He doesn't have to identify as a woman.
He doesn't have to identify as a woman. Sign on the door is not going to stop it.
And the fact that I'm glad you brought up daughters in particular, because statistically, you are more likely to be a danger to your daughter than a trans woman in a bathroom. That is a fact.
You can come off mute.
Come off mute. I didn't permanently put you on mute. Like, hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Let's take him off mute. All right. So yeah, Ramses, you come off mute now. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just let me go to the next prompt. Okay. I don't want to get hung up on there. So I would respect your opinions, but I would disagree. I think leftist policies go too far. That was what I wanted to say. You can't do everything, and some things have to be regulated. Everything just can't go.
But you're taking away rights from people.
It's not a right for you to piss in the bathroom with my daughter. That's not your right.
I'm like, but it's a public restroom. It's a right for a woman to be able.
It's a female restroom, and that's the problem. That's why Democrats are losing.
If someone has gone through the process to alter their sexual characteristics, I'm like, the law should recognize that change.
I disagree.
As it has done.
All right, Ramses. Here's what I'm trying to ask you, because it's a female restroom. Let's talk about trans men who still have a vagina. There are trans men who look like me and they have a vagina.
But
would you be careful?
Didn't even mention the post-operative part.
I got you. But hold on, Ramses. Would you be comfortable with someone who looks like me going into the restroom, even though they look like me?
Women don't typically pose a threat for assaults to men. So therefore, that would not be a threat as much as it would be a male who's been supposedly transferred going into a female bathroom. Now, may I go to the next point?
No. You didn't actually address what I'm. You didn't actually address what I'm asking.
I know what you're asking.
Everybody pause. Listen.
They're not a threat.
Hold on, Ramses. You're saying that
trans women are not a threat, though.
You're saying that someone who looks like me, just because they have a vagina, they're not a threat? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think they're a threat for assaulting a man.
No, I'm talking about going into the female's restroom. They look like me, but they have a vagina. They're not a threat?
I think it would be less of a threat, yes.
It'll be less of a threat. Okay,
I'm
cool.
Like,
so you think that people
the vagina changes everything. There's a reason that people have them. So they change everything.
The vagina changes everything. Okay, let me ask you a question.
I'm like, but that's what I asked. Why shouldn't a post-operative trans woman be allowed to use female
operations? Penis? Don't do everything, man.
All right,
they don't do everything.
But you just said,
sir.
Hold on, everybody, pause. You're contradicting yourself now, Ramses, because you said that the vagina changes a lot, but now when someone who's post-operative, you say it doesn't change everything. Which one is it? That's number one.
Both. It's
the
both.
Second thing, hold on. The second thing I would say is that the situation isn't solved still. The reason why is because if someone wants to harass someone, if someone wants to assault someone, a sign on a bathroom will not change anything, bro.
It won't make it foolproof, but it will decrease the probability. Can I go to the next
point?
No,
it won't. There is no evidence that that's the case. Did you know, Ramses? Did you know, Ramses? Hold on. Let me just bring something. Let me just point something out.
Trans women are not a threat.
Let me just point something out. Ramses, you realize that there are countries around the world that have unisex bathrooms, and what you're talking about is not an issue there. So how would you explain that?
I would explain that those countries are not America. We have a very different.
Oh, so we're uniquely fucked up.
Exactly. You need
Okay,
to, have you
there
not
you
seen
go.
the data? You should look at the data.
There you go. So
we have
Americans
more
are uniquely.
guns. We have more guns. We're more violent. We're more.
Gotcha.
We have
Gotcha.
a tendency to.
Gotcha.
To
You can move
more
on to the
everything.
next one. Gotcha. You can move on to the next one.
Yeah, and my closing statement would be.
No, move on to the next one. You don't need to close it. Move on to the next one. What's the next one?
Reparations for Black Americans. What's the question about that?
What do you mean? What's the question? Yeah, they should happen.
Should they get them? Should they not?
Yes, they should.
Of course, they should get them. That's a no-brainer.
But trans women can't use the bathroom, though.
I thought we were done with that. Okay, do I have to answer?
But because I can't get over the fact.
I'm sorry.
She got a phone call.
But not trans women, though.
Go ahead. I mean, you're really riding hard for the trans people. I mean, I think that's fine if that's your thing. I just think that when you start getting away from the natural order, the way you're born, I think you're getting into a type of human engineering.
So say that, but you cannot say that a trans woman is a threat.
Okay, ma'am.
Because that is not true.
I will accept your point of view on that, and I think that's fine. I have a different point of view. Can I go to the next prompt?
But your point of view is not rooted in logic or reality.
It doesn't agree with you. That's the problem. And you're having a problem with that. And that doesn't mean that it's bad. Just because it doesn't, people can have a different point of view. They can have a difference of opinion.
No, Ramsey, I get Ramsey. I get that. I get that people can have a different point of view. I get that people have different opinions. But you're saying a certain group of people are a threat. And that sounds that it's not this sounds bigoted. That is bigoted. That's what I'm saying. Like, how are trans women?
Maybe it is. I don't think it should be in sports. I think if you want to have trans people in sports, make trans sports. It's very simple. Let them have their own lane. They have Special Olympics. You can have trans sports.
But here is the thing. You have not acknowledged, because here's the thing.
I won't either.
You have not acknowledged that puberty is what causes major differences, and you have not acknowledged that. Yes, it is.
That's not 100% true.
That is a fact.
That's not
that is a fact. Yes, it is. I'm like, would Volcy have a beard if he didn't go through male puberty? Would he have a deep voice? Would he have male muscle mass, bone density if he never went through male puberty? If puberty doesn't cause changes, then why can't children that are both male and female compete against each other as children? There's a reason for that, because there's no advantage until puberty.
Yeah, but my entire issue with this is you calling trans women a threat, and I don't see how trans women are a threat to me or anyone, because they're not uniquely worse off than anybody else. Their mental health issues are based on the fact that society and their families don't accept them. They're not based on the fact that they're just uniquely a dangerous person, right? So when you say that trans women are somehow a threat, that's where I find it to be problematic. So, because how are they more of a threat than me or anybody else? Because like we already agreed, a sign on a door is not going to change anybody who wants to assault anybody else. We know that there are female sexual predators. We know that there are male sexual predators. They exist across the entire spectrum. But what we have, the statistics that we have, is that, you know, the men are the most likely to do it. Now, do we have any statistics that show that trans people have a higher rate of being a sexual assaulter than anybody else? We don't have that either. So what are we going off of to say that these people are a threat?
In fact, we have data that shows that trans women and trans men actually are both more likely to be assaulted and be a danger in a bathroom than anyone else.
Yeah, so that's another thing. If they're more likely to be victimized than to be a perpetrator, where's the threat that you're saying come from? That's what I'm trying to get to the nitty-gritty of, Ramses. How are they a threat? There's just no reasoning to say this.
In your opinion, I'll accept that as you guys' opinion. Let your kids go in the bathroom.
It's not an opinion. It is an objectable
it's an
fact.
Opinion, ma'am. It's an opinion.
It's not an opinion. No, it's not.
Okay, I'm not going to be convinced that it's okay.
Ramses, hold on. Pause real quick. Ramses, here's the thing. You just keep saying that's my opinion. What I'm saying is that my opinion is based off of the reasoning that I see. We see that trans people are more likely to be victims than to be perpetrators. We see that there is no data to show
victims by children.
Hold on.
Victims by children?
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Listen. What we see is that they're more likely to be victimized than to be a perpetrator. Listen, bro, you need to be quiet for a second. Listen. They are more likely to be victimized than to be a perpetrator, meaning that people are more likely to assault them than they are to assault somebody else. And I don't see any good logical reason for why I should take them as a threat, because their mental health issues are based on factors such as non-acceptance from their family and society. That's what their mental health issues are based on. They're not more likely to be schizophrenic or violently bipolar. That doesn't happen with trans people. They're not more likely to be that than the general population. So why would I view them as more than a threat than to you, than to the other guests, than to my sister? I don't like. What's the reasoning for me to view that? Well, what I'm asking you, Ramses. Hold on, wait. I'm not asking you to accept my opinion. I'm asking you, why should I view them as a threat like you do? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, you shouldn't if that's what you believe. But let me just summarize. He asked me a question, ma'am. Can I answer?
I'm asking for your reason. That's what I'm asking. Okay, your reason.
Okay, there are circumstances where it would be more acceptable and less acceptable. Let's take the situation of sports. I don't think trans people should be in female sports because they are biologically men. Number one. Number two, I think there are circumstances where some people are going to abuse that privilege of being trans to just be a pedophile and exploit a child. Give them their own bathrooms. I mean, I think if it's just one child that's exploited, that's too many. Give them their own bathrooms.
Does that happen? Does that happen already?
So you support segregation.
Oh my God, yes.
So hold on, wait, hold on.
There was
Ramses,
a recent
Ramses,
case.
hold on, hold on.
Very recent case,
hold on. Ramses, hold on. Because maybe my question wasn't clear. I wasn't asking if a trans person doesn't take advantage of it. I'm asking, are there people who are already taking advantage of children using their power position? Does that already happen?
Because here's the thing, that's already a crime.
Yeah, that's already a crime. So the reason why I'm asking
is already a crime.
Right. So what I'm asking, Ramses, is that you're saying that people will use their position or use their identity in order to take advantage of children. Does that already happen in any context?
It happens across the board, sir, obviously.
Exactly. So saying that this is a uniquely trans problem.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth. What I'm saying is when a young child is in a bathroom with a grown adult, a person who's exploiting the position, that can be a threat. Now, fine. If you guys want your kids in the bathroom with men, that's fine. I'll accept that. May I move to the next
part? But they're not men, though.
Okay, ma'am. Can I move to the next thing? I thought we were done with that. Y'all said we were done.
Yeah, I think we are
done. Because you have not. But
yeah, let's go on to the next person
because the fact of the matter is the fact that he refused to acknowledge that puberty is what causes major differences between the sexes. Because Volcy, I'm sure you mentored some of those children because you're kind of I've heard. I think I remember you mentioning in sport. Are male and female children allowed? Are there not co-ed sports for children? There's a reason why?
Yeah, because they're more equal. Once they become teenagers, that branches off.
Like, and once they go through puberty, the advantages come because of testosterone, exactly. And that is what makes.
Yeah. All right. So, Rodrigo, the reason I invited you up is because you seem to agree that trans women are a threat. Were you agreeing with that, or were you disagreeing with that? Rodrigo, you there?
Yeah, I couldn't unmute.
No, not a problem. Are you at least 18?
Oh yeah, I'm way.
Did you disagree with something that I had on the board or anything that we've been talking about?
Oh no, when I heard the gentleman say that they're a threat, I wasn't thinking that he was saying they're a threat, like it's something to fear, like I can't go out of my house, or if I see somebody that's trans, I'm talking about my perspective, that I'm going to run away or I'm going to mistreat them. He made the comment that he saw it as he said this, he might have said other things, but this is what I zeroed in on. Mm-hmm. He said to the natural order of things. Mm-hmm. And,
I'm like, do you think that there are not variations in nature?
Well, I'm just talking about human beings' tradition and how societies have tradition.
I understand that. I'm like, have you ever? So there's studies, right? So the brain is sexually differentiated at a different point than the body in gestation. I'm like with hormones and stuff, right? I'm like in the mother's womb. There are actual studies that I'm like that actually suggest that trans people, their brain is structurally the sex that they are transitioning to, the sex that they identify, but their bodies went in the opposite direction. And that is what causes the disconnect. So so trans people, just like many different other situations that unfortunately happen, are a variation in nature. We're not saying because no one is suggesting that people who are born without 10 fingers should be discriminated against. That's a variation. Most humans have 5 fingers, just like most people. The sex that they are born, they later identify with, because everything is congruent. The brain and the body are congruent. But for a small portion of the population, that is not the case.
Yeah. So what are they a threat to, Rodrigo? What's the threat?
No. I was saying I zeroed in on one thing that he said. Mm-hmm. A threat to the natural order of things. And what he was saying, and this is what I agree with, is that we live in a society of men and women. We are able to differentiate between the sexes and knowing what each one of them, there's certain things that certain sexes are more capable of doing than others. And then bring it into the sports. If you have someone who's trans, even if everything is that Michaela said is true, they're born